It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. It is Calgary Underground Film Festival this week, so we will be breaking a little bit from our normal and talk a whole lot more independent film, even more than usual.
What?
Plus a couple of current releases as well. I'm here with
Hey, Bryce.
Hey, my name's Bryce, that's right.
And the other guy?
And I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey, Jim. And the man who single-handedly is keeping Cuff afloat. It's the Merman. Wow. Hey, Murray.
And the volunteers. Let's not forget them.
Yeah.
And the volunteers. But they're all looking up to you, Mur.
That's right.
As they should.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Ooh, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at that's not it. That's our email address and our website. But no, you can go to buy me. That's right. Buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And you know what? We're going to do it because we're whores. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
Good news. There is a Liam Neeson movie coming out.
Fuck me now and then bury me in a grave.
We got no time for streaming this week.
No streaming. You know what? I had to dance at the theaters the other day because I just haven't had enough dancing on our podcast. But we went to the cinemas before we went to, or during Cuff, actually. Squeezed it all in.
Yeah, we did.
The 16 movies we watched at Cuff, plus these 2 movies.
Yeah, plus these 2. But they were 2 major releases that need to be. I can't. We really need to stop doing these.
This is what happens when you
morning.
podcast in the morning. Yeah, we shouldn't be doing that anymore.
This is just not good. Let's try it again. Take 2. We saw The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Massive.
Nicolas Cage stars as Nick Cage in this charming bit of cinema that's concept carries it through the first 2/3, but the unbearable weight of stretching what should be a 15-minute comedy sketch starts to buckle and collapse in the last third of the film. The first 2/3 are a lot of fun, with Cage being Cage and Pedro Pascal shining in the role of one of Cage's biggest fans. The hijinks that ensue is fun at first, but tiresome by the end. Some of the characters are wasted and underdeveloped, such as Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz as CIA agents. Although, as per usual, Neil Patrick Harris was pure gold as Cage's agent, Richard Fink.
Solid gold.
There are moments of brilliance in with this, and there's also an epic bromance and plenty of laughs, but then you get a little silly. Some silly car chases and explosions, and the film starts to spiral a little during its final act. I loved much of this film, but I was also annoyed by enough of it that this potential Mondo was relegated to a meh.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Well, this is Nick Cage as himself, being the best Nick Cage that Nick Cage can be as himself, Nick Cage. which also makes him so mesmerizing and so Nick Cage.
But who did he play in the movie?
And there are so many great Nick Cages that he plays, including from the classic Valley Girl, Nikki, to the LSD Nick, to all the faces of Nick we know and love. This film has all of them. All the moments that this movie doesn't take itself seriously are fantastic. I really wish it stayed that way for the entire film. But instead, we got a buddy action film plot, and it kind of destroyed the awesomeness and left me feeling like I was watching the unbearable weight of not great action tropes. The whole, as you had already alluded to, the whole CIA part of the story was done very badly, and the only good part was getting to see our girl Tiff get shot. But of course, that chapter closes, and no real wrap-up. And then, of course, we get corny Hollywood endings, which are always annoying. Nick Cage, you still got it. And I feel are still mesmerizing for life. But the action flick that we got to watch that is supposed to be an unbearable weight of massive talent was just an unbearable weight of massive meh.
Yeah.
Mer, what'd you think?
Okay. Nicolas Cage. Playing Nicolas Cage. I was expecting more Nicolas Cage and less,
Nicolas Cage?
action movie Nicolas Cage. It just, started off great. And like I said, the character Nicky, which I actually found out interview they did with him, is based on him in some crappy British talk show when he was first starting out, where he was like being ridiculous. You know, like those Japanese talk shows where like the one from Lost in Translation. He was doing all kinds of weird stuff on it, and he like ripped his shirt off, and I'm like, it was like over the top Nicolas Cage from like
the one where he does the high kick and goes,
the high kicks, that he did all that on the talk show, which he says what he based Nicky on.
Oh, okay.
And then of course he also came up with the ingenious idea to have Nicolas Cage make out with Nicky.
Nice.
It's like, Nicolas Cage is a great kisser. You tell him that. Anyway, I don't know. It was okay, but it kind of stopped becoming him making fun of himself, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And it became, he basically was trying to become the action star for real. It's like, no, he's still just an actor. Like, he's trying to do real action star stuff at the end of the movie, and he's still just supposed to be an actor. So, whatever. But the ending was a little predictable. But, it was a meh.
There's so many great Nick moments in this film. Like, there's going to be like GIFs and memes off this for like life, because there's so many good bits in this.
No, the trailer made it look hilarious, but those bits were some of the only funny ones.
Yeah, like it was almost like two separate movies. I found.
Yeah, it was halfway through when it got serious. I'm like, okay, this is not the movie I thought it would be.
And I know we kind of danced around a little bit, but the whole fact of them putting in these little character actors, but then they didn't really complete any of their stories.
No,
they didn't really give them any justice at all.
I could have used like another, I don't know, 25 minutes of him still being in Hollywood with Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
Let's develop something.
And have more Tiffany Haddish doing stuff.
Really upset Neil Patrick Harris didn't play Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Or an absurd version of it.
Why
from
couldn't
Harold and Kumar or something.
Why couldn't he have been he was just his friend?
But he was some boring agent guy. I mean,
he was fine. I really actually enjoyed his performance as the boring agent guy.
He could have been better though.
He's kind of.
I had no problem.
He's kind of great in everything he does.
Oh, he is. But like I said, his part could have been a lot more outrageous to fit with the movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where it got bogged down. It needed to stay outrageous.
Well,
totally.
You needed Nick to be outrageous and everybody else to not. That way, Nick, that way
became
there's a highlighter on his persona.
So he became the unbearable weight of massive talent. That should have been this movie.
You can't have someone in there trying to outshine Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, no one.
Number one, it's not going to work.
Yes.
It's going to fall flat anyways.
Unless he's in a movie potentially with Dennis Hopper.
Having said that, Pedro Pascal is the sort of straight man in this relationship.
Yeah.
Was so good. I'm actually super impressed with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, we got to watch more.
For a guy that I didn't really know existed a few years ago, he just, everything he does, it's like, wow, he's spot on
we're just
again.
ignoring.
I think we're gonna have to
ignoring Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't the reason that was bad.
His
But
character was one of the reasons why it was
But,
bad.
but we're not. But we're not.
Fine. I was fine with that.
He's not going to make an undoubted list anytime soon. But
Yeah.
he could grow himself to be mesmerizing.
That was a cash grab, so I can forgive him for that. But whatever.
I don't know. I don't forgive people for cash grabs.
No, that's unforgivable.
It's unforgivable.
I thought his character in that was fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Murray didn't like that character.
You need to watch it again then.
No, he doesn't.
I really don't.
It may be end up in the dare bag. Oh, I guess we're not allowed to do that.
It was like one of the worst
We've already
supervillains
talked about
ever.
that movie.
Anyway,
All right. Well, you know what we also saw?
I don't remember.
We saw The Northman.
Oh yeah,
separately,
Yeah. Oh, well, you two see this together?
we did.
accidentally.
Yeah. Accidentally, they saw
I
it
walked
together.
into the theater. I said, "Hey, it's the merman."
It's the merman.
Yeah, that was a day.
I'll go see if he'll let me sit beside him, and he did.
Aw, did you guys
yeah.
cuddle a little bit?
No.
in
I
the
wanted
scary
to,
parts?
but-
You know what? I was actually very impressed that he sat with me in almost the front row.
I sat down and I
What?
figured he was gonna snuggle up right beside me, but he put a space between
I
us.
had my pies. I had to leave room for them.
He's got to leave room for pies. So, yes, we saw The Northman, and as with most Robert Eggers films, the dark atmosphere and music mix so well to weave you into a tale both mystical and mythical. The sound was deep and penetrating.
Yep.
Who doesn't love penetrating? Throughout the entire film, through the tribal drumming to the folktale camp songs to the ever-present enveloping and surrounding sound, this film is visual and dark and breathtaking. The film itself has a tribal, almost savage feel, and we get let into a world of 900 AD, Iceland, and Norway. The acting is all fantastic, and the story of avenging one's father, freeing one's mother, and killing one's uncle is very, 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 very slow. To get to a climax, well worth waiting for. Great cameos by Bjork and Willem Dafoe as witches, and couldn't have been cast any better. I had a few problems with some of the consistency of Skarsgård character's strength, and in some of the middle of the film, there was some bogging down, but overlooked it as I had already felt deeply invested in his need for avenging his father, freeing his mother, and killing his uncle, which he reminds us of in a chant every so often just to make sure that we don't forget. Also, I had some issues with accents all the way through, but they moved between English and Icelandic so often I was like, whatevs. We get lots of blood, love, sex, violence, and some pretty drugged out dream sequences, which were very pleasant to view. All in all, it was a really good Scandinavian revenge period piece. Mondo. I loved it. It was long, and it was good, and it was slow, and it was dark, and it was Eggers, so it was awesome. It was Mondo. What'd you think? Northman. The Northman himself is now going to speak on The Northman.
Joygasm.
All right.
Is the word I describe.
Did your crotch come out of this movie a little wet?
No, but I was in pure bliss the whole movie.
All right.
As you know, I am of Scandinavian heritage, and I like everything Scandinavian.
Okay, so is this going to inspire you now to go see some other Robert Eggers movies? Because I don't think you're going to like those ones as much.
Don't know who he is, to be honest. I went for the Skarsgård, who is my second favorite Skarsgård.
Second?
His dad is the OG.
Oh, the old.
His dad's the OG.
Oh, the OG, yeah.
That's about the only issue I really had. Much as I love Ethan Hawke, his dad should have played his dad.
There you go.
Because he would have done a much better job. Plus, he actually speaks multiple languages, as his son does.
Damn.
But he's too old for the role.
Oh.
For his
whatever.
dad?
Ethan Hawke's no spring chicken either.
He's a lot younger.
Whatevs. I did love Nicole Kidman, though obviously she's not of Scandinavian. She's an Australian.
And her accent isn't great.
And the age thing, but whatever. I mean, they must have did some CGI at the beginning because she played the same character throughout, but whatever. Yeah, it's not a new story. It's a very old one. In fact, a lot of the old Norse mythology stories were, origins for stuff like Hamlet. This is basically the Hamlet story.
Yep.
Before Hamlet was written.
Well, isn't Hamlet also Danish?
Yes.
So he's kind of the same descent.
There you go. But no, it's a classic tale. It's revenge. You killed your father. You have to get revenge.
Murray, it's not actually. It's avenging your father, freeing your mother, and killing your uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it right.
Exactly. Anyway, no, the action was great, and I love the whole farming aspect, because people think of Vikings as just conquerors, but they are farmers.
When they're bitch slapped and told to go live on a farm, they do it.
That I was like, okay, really? This guy, basically killed his dad, and then, of course, the most awesome King Harold of Norway bitch slapped this guy and put him on a farm with with like half a dozen slaves. I'm like, yeah, he still thought he was all that. I'm like, you're a farmer, dude. You're not a lord of anything. Like, whatever.
He was lord of that farm.
I would have killed him in the first 10 minutes, but that's just me.
Yep.
No, I thought it was freaking awesome. Of course it was a Mondo.
All right.
Lots of action. Yeah, it was dark and it was slow, but yeah, go see it.
You stayed awake through the whole thing, so I'm impressed.
Did. Yeah. And for that reason why I saw it with Bryce is we had a snowstorm here that day. Which grounded me. Had to leave my car in a parkade and take the train.
Nice.
So I ended up going to Bryce's favorite theater.
His least favorite theater.
Met up with them there.
His least favorite theater, the one right beside his house.
One beside his house.
I hate that theater.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
All right.
It was Mondo.
Bryce, what do you think of Robert Eggers' newest addition to his...
Yeah, The Northman. Visually stunning, technically proficient, well acted, music was great. I appreciate... I really can't talk this morning.
You should not talk at all.
I appreciated much of this. I just didn't love it.
What?
And I was expecting to love it. Eggers is a master filmmaker, with his 2 previous films leaving permanent scars on my brain. With The Witch and The Lighthouse, Eggers showed that he is a director that is uncompromising in his vision. And while The Northman is great on many levels, it pales in comparison to his previous 2 efforts. Perhaps my opinion of this film is a bit of a casualty to my lofty expectations, but I genuinely feel as though this was a step backwards for a director that is on his way to being undoubted. This film was very good. I liked it a lot, but I expected so much more. The Northman was an epic spectacle, but ultimately Eggers has become a victim of his own brilliance, and I cannot help but compare it to his previous 2 works, which makes this a very high meh.
Okay, so what did you have the most problems with? Because I gotta admit, like, I was actually debating, because I was sitting in meh at certain parts in the film, but the way that it progressed, even to the ending, I thought the ending was done amazing, and Anna Taylor-Joy was done so well. The ending was okay. It was perfect.
It wasn't perfect. It was too slick, and it wasn't. It just left me.
Okay, so is it
and
okay?
There was so much more going on with his previous 2 films. This was so linear that I just I don't know.
Well, and I think maybe that this film is very much more of a mainstream project, and both The Lighthouse and The Witch are both things that mainstream cinema is not necessarily going to jump on board with.
True.
Right?
As I say, it was very, very, very good. But it's just, when my expectation, like I heard Eggers is coming out with a new film.
Oh, yeah.
I was jumping out of my skin with excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat down and watched it, and it was good. But it's no Witch.
It's not Witch. It's a different movie.
It's no Lighthouse.
It's a completely different movie.
It's a completely different movie, and it pales in comparison to those 2 films.
I don't know.
It was okay. I liked it a lot. I wouldn't blame anybody for loving this movie. I get it. There's a lot to love. It's just not as good as what I was expecting from this guy.
Especially Bjork.
You know what? If I don't know, name an average director out there.
Michael Bay.
No, that's a terrible director.
Michael Bay's version of this would just have me absolutely
crying. You probably wouldn't have got to see it.
No.
David Mamet.
Anyways, if someone else was making this, I probably would have appreciated more. And as I say, he's a bit of a victim of his own brilliance, because his first 2 films, like literally, I have scars on my brain that will never heal because of this guy.
So basically, you're a victim of your own self, is what you're telling us.
And now I'm watching this, it was okay.
It was great.
It had great moments.
It's gonna come back and haunt you. I
It's
think
not gonna haunt
the
me.
visuals are gonna come back.
Not like those other two films.
I don't know.
So it was good. I liked it. It was a high meh.
I don't
But
really
it
need
was-
a movie to haunt me. I just want to enjoy it.
Oh, I love movies haunting me.
I don't.
I want this
yeah.
one to haunt me for a while more.
I want to wake up screaming in the middle of the night, like which happened with those other two movies. Exactly. It's like, oh my god. And this one, I was like, it was good. I liked it.
Apparently, we're still telling people go see this movie.
Yeah, go
'cause
see it.
It's visual. The music is fantastic.
And hey,
The acting by everybody except
run
for
out
Nicole
and see it if you
Kidman
didn't
is
see his
great.
first two previous works, because those are just.
See this one before
spoil
if you
it for
haven't
you.
seen the other two.
Exactly.
You'll warm yourself up.
Yes.
I think The Lighthouse is his best.
Oh, yes.
Was Willem Dafoe in that one too?
Yep.
He is.
He wasn't in this one enough. Should have been more.
No.
And Anya
more
Taylor-Joy was
Dafoe.
in the first.
Yeah.
Oh, is
in
she?
The Witch.
In The
Yeah.
Witch.
Yeah, I'm liking her more and more and more. I see her.
I'm in love with her now.
She's awesome.
Still probably a little creepy because I'm old and she's so young.
Yeah.
But I'm still in
creeping me
love
out.
with her.
I like her a lot, but I don't love her.
Oh, you know what that song means?
I have no idea. What does it mean, Jim?
It means cough, 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 cough.
Freddie or Jason around the corner?
Cough. Is that the Calgary Underground Film Festival?
It
Cough,
might be. I think I've heard of it.
cough,
Is that going on? When's that going to happen?
cough,
Oh, might be soon.
cough, cough. And you can find Calgary Underground Film Festival at calgaryundergroundfilm.org. They are our favorite festival on the universe.
They are.
And you know, we are probably the most blessed people on the planet. Even though we don't get a lot of other films that are released come to our city, we have probably the two best film festivals of any city that exists on the planet.
Cool.
Arguably.
I've never been to any other one, so
Yeah, but we know what other cities have it.
we know. We've looked at their lists and we know
Yeah.
what they've shown.
That's
yeah.
right.
There's
So
some similarities.
so we're pretty lucky. That's all. I'm
we're
gonna say.
lucky.
So, you know, we crammed through 16 movies already, and we felt it'd be too tough to bring them all out. Plus, there was a couple that we didn't love a lot, so we don't want to bring too much light on the darkness of Cuff. We want to bring to the light what is amazing in Cuff, and we are going to have some probably disagreements on what our top 5 are, but ultimately, the message we want to get across is that people go check out Cuff's website. And also support local film festivals, because there's a lot of stuff that comes out of there that's amazing that you wouldn't get to see when you just go see another Marvel movie. There's stuff in here that's going to, as Bright said, scar your mind for life, and it's worth it, Murray, to get your mind scarred for life.
Believe me, the few movies I've seen have scarred me for life.
Nice. Well, why don't you start? Did you have anything that you can put in your top anything of favorite movies that you've seen?
People may not know I actually am with Cuff at the moment. I'm actually the person in the booth putting the movies on. So as such, I don't have a lot of time to watch them.
But you did get to see some. You got to see the opening gala.
I saw the opening gala thing, Duel. Yeah, it was okay. I like Karen Gillan, though I felt like it was kind of just an extension of her character from the Marvel universe. It was this, like, only thing that was missing was robotic arms, because she was very, I don't know.
He just lost me. What is he talking about?
I don't want to say flat. It's just like she had, like, she's very emotionless, her whole character.
Yeah, that was the whole movie.
But that's the same character she is in the Marvel movie.
Is she like Black Widow? Who is she?
She's the blue chick.
Oh, the what?
The blue one.
From
Blue one.
With the body
Guardians
parts.
of the Galaxy.
With the body parts.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
You didn't know
Guardians
that?
of the Galaxy?
You didn't know that was her?
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Anyway,
right now.
just saying, it's basically
The main
the same
actress in
character.
Duel.
But yeah, it had some good funny moments, and the whole idea of, like, you know, building yourself a clone. But it's like, really, when you're dead, who gives a crap about your loved ones? Like, why would you care what they think?
What? Burry?
Especially her. She has a mother she basically hated.
What are you doing? Bryce and I are going to be dead without you.
Why would she, like, leave a clone for her mother who basically hates her anyway?
FYI, I'm going to clone you.
You probably
I've already
should.
got
You
samples
probably
of
should.
your semen, your blood,
Sure
your
you
urine,
do.
your feces,
I'm sure
the
you
inside
do.
of your cheek. When you fall asleep, what do you think I'm doing?
Anyway, no, it was a good idea. I really didn't like the ending, though.
All right.
I just didn't at all. So, yeah, it was a meh, but it was one of the
All right.
better movies I've seen from Cuff.
So that's pretty much the only movie you're
And
going to bring
I
to
sat
light?
through that one on what was it, Sunday night that I thought would be a good horror movie, and it confused the crap out of me.
I know.
I know.
Dawn breaks
behind
the
the
eyes or
eyes.
whatever. I mean,
So good.
and I tested it, so I actually saw bits and pieces of it. But the one piece that I saw that stayed with me, it's like, okay, this is really creepy and gross. And then
Yes.
the rest of the movie kind of wasn't. It was it was like a drug trip. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh my
It
god.
was.
Without having to partake.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it a rage, but it's like it definitely wasn't for me. That was not my kind of film. And
All
yeah,
right.
I haven't had time to see anything else. So
Well, there you go.
You guys are up.
Maybe we'll be lucky enough in our part 2 of Cuff for Murray to have streamed some stuff. We'll see. Bryce, you want to give your top 5? I got an honorable mention too, so if you want to
don't-
throw one in.
I don't have an honorable. I guess my honorable mention would be the one that Murray just talked about. Dawn breaks before the whatever. Dawn breaks behind the eyes. That's what it was called.
All right.
That'll be my honorable mention. It was
Okay.
good. I liked it.
I know.
Okay, so my top 5 thus far for the Calgary Underground Film Festival, and we're pretty much at the halfway point. Number 5, Freak Scene, The Story of Dinosaur Jr. Doc was not particularly well made,
It's loud.
but the interviews with Jay make up for many of its flaws.
This pushed you all the way to a Mondo?
No, it did not. It's my top 5 of the festival.
Okay.
It was a high. It was a no. It was
There
a
were
meh.
interviews. All I saw was guys screaming into microphones.
Nice.
There's lots of interviews, and
I-
Jay was.
I
at
must
the
have missed
center.
that part.
Jay and the dude that was trying to tell us how it all came together. And anyways, number 4, Saloom. Dark ancestral forces unleash hell in this African action horror film. It was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. Jim fell asleep, so
I did.
it's probably not going to be in his top 5.
No, it
but
is not.
All
in his
that noise,
defense,
you fell asleep?
He was tired.
You fell asleep with all that noise?
With all the demon things. It was cool.
It was
I woke
cool.
up during the demon thing. I was like, hey, what's this?
Now we get to it was a high meh. Now we get to the 3 movies that I loved. Number 3, Sundown. Brilliant performance
Really?
from Tim Roth. Makes this an experience that should not be missed. This was so good, so well paced. I loved this movie.
It did not make my top 5.
No, I
Murray.
don't imagine it did. And the parts I saw, I'm like, okay, it's like an hour of him
It
sitting on the
is-
beach drinking beer.
It's not just
It's
an hour of him.
It's basically a slacker.
It's not a slacker movie.
It's a middle-aged slacker
Oh,
film.
for
And
crying in a
then there's
bucket.
crap happening at the last 10 minutes that kind of like,
That's
oh,
right.
okay. now
Too
there's a
much.
story.
Too much happened at the end.
That's
Yeah,
this
maybe
is why Bryce liked it, is because
guess.
nothing happens in it until the end,
the
and
end,
then
then
it probably
everything
confused him, but he still
There
liked
you
it
go.
anyway.
It was Mondo. Number 2, Piggy. Slow burning slasher of sorts that elevates the genre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much to talk about,
And
Piggy. We'll talk
it
more
is-
about it when
is-
I talk about it.
It is showing again, by the way.
Yeah. Yes.
Thursday afternoon. If you
People
happen
who
to
are
be in
listening
the
to
area.
us,
Yes.
if you have a chance, you got to see Piggy.
Thursday afternoon at 4, I believe.
There you go.
All right. That brings us to the best film thus far at Cuff.
Which might be my least favorite. I'm just saying that might be a prediction. But go ahead.
Getting It Back, the story of Samande.
Oh, okay, that's not.
I had no intention of even going to this, but I had a slot to fill. And quite often when you got a slot to fill, you just
Stick something
Go
in
with
it.
just stick
whatever's
something in
playing.
it and
Fill
see
it up.
Fill it up. See what happens. Another one of these docs that leaves you asking yourself, how have I not heard of these guys until now? Better late than never. The film needs to be seen so that the music can wash over you and make your life a little better.
You know
Was
what?
Mondo.
It was okay. So I didn't put mine in any order. Unlike you like to rank things.
I do like to rank things.
I
so
like to
people
feel
know what's
the.
what.
I like to feel the level of Mondo is all the same on these.
But mine weren't all Mondo, so if I put Freak Scene at the top, that would be just lying to our listeners.
That's true.
I didn't have 5 Mondos.
I think I might have-
suspect I'm going to have nothing but Mondos from here on in, but
Okay, you're right. No, all
No?
mine are Mondos,
All
and I'm
yours are
telling you.
Mondos?
Yep, except for my honorable mention, which was Wild Men, the movie for Murray, as I like to
which
call
I
it.
unfortunately
Wild
did
Men, the movie for Murray.
it would, by the way, it would have made my top 5
If it wasn't for the ending.
If it wasn't for the end, which is so freaking stupid.
This is the
that
one
it wrecked the entire movie for me.
It was weird.
It was mad.
We can't talk about the ending because
it's so dumb.
It kind of destroys.
It'll set me off.
It kind of destroys. But yeah, I love the fact that one thing in the movie can destroy the movie.
It was so stupid. Anyways, talk about it. Sorry, I'm going to shut up.
It was a little bad for sure. If you're going to make a buddy road trip comedy heist film, the only way to do it is to make it in Denmark and put it in the mountains. This was so fun and funny, and at the same time was super ridiculous. Everything was awesome, kind of like that song. Although the ending was a little dumb, but I can forgive it because the rest of the movie was so completely awesome.
It was
super.
It was super up until the last
5 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes. It just Bryce's face at the end. I was just like, I wish I could have taken a picture of that. A picture of disappointment.
It was because I loved this movie. I was like, this is Mondo, and then what?
Why did you do this to me? Now I'm going to pick one off that Bryce absolutely hated, but I absolutely loved, which is We Met in Virtual Reality. VR is nothing I ever understood or want to be a part of, and I keep asking myself all through this, what and how is this even happening? I found the doc interesting, and it kept me entertained a very, very long time. I found this actually fascinating that someone was able to go into virtual reality and make a movie that's a documentary about these people that live inside this world.
On that level, it's fascinating. His choice of people to focus on was not.
I actually liked them too. I thought
some of them were great. All the sign language stuff and like that was all great.
That was one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen. Sign language in virtual reality. And people teaching classes.
But then the rest of it got bogged down with like idiots.
By awesomeness. People who fell in love and got married in virtual reality. They had people you could take yoga lessons or dance classes. I actually want to now join virtual reality. That's what I think I want to do.
I was shaking my head back and forth through about 80% of this doc.
But it's mostly because...
And 20% of it was wonderful.
You don't even have a phone, so that's why...
I do have a phone. It's right there.
Oh, you plug it into the wall.
It's plugged into the
He
wall.
doesn't have a walking around phone.
No, I don't have one of them fancy walking.
That's right.
It's just a fad. Nobody's going to have those in like 5 years.
I want to go buy some virtual reality glasses. That's what I'm saying. All right. The other one I liked was Duel. This bone-dry black comedy sci-fi flick had me laughing all the way through it. The acting was so dry, so dry and rigid. At first, it kind of bothered me, but as I got into the concept and the story, it just made me laugh even more. Imagine cloning yourself to replace yourself for when you die. Imagine all the awesome things you can do with yourself, or try and kill yourself. Either way, this film was funny and gross and silly, and it was Mondo. And yes, the thing I'd be most excited about is having sex with myself. But that didn't happen.
This was another victim of their initial film being brilliant, and this one just paling in comparison. The art of self-defense
was still awesome.
Is fantastic.
It's a great movie.
And this director was so... He made such a good film there, and this one is just not as good.
It's great. I loved it.
It is worth watching if you've got some time to kill.
It was Mondo. Piggy, as we've already mentioned.
Piggy!
You guys do love your
First off, don't tease people because it's not cool.
It's not. Just don't do it.
And it's a great twist on a slasher flicks.
Yes.
But Spanish style. With some good blood, suspense, and a complex teen finding herself.
There's a lot of
Piggy
intelligence
is
to this.
awesome. Piggy is mind-bending. Piggy is fucking Mondo.
It is.
This movie is probably one of the only coming-of-age movies I've ever seen in my entire life where I have been so actually fascinated by the character that it's developing. This person is so unique, and I just couldn't get enough of her. The fact that she was both sexually attracted to this killer at the same time as repulsed by him was so fast. She was amazing.
Yeah.
This actress was amazing.
The movie was very, very good.
It was. Don't break Oh, Dawn Breaks Behind the Eyes. Weird and wonderful homage to 60s and 70s Italian horror films with a dash of German sex party thrown in for good measure.
It was good.
Some amazing visuals and expect the unexpected. I freaking love this movie. This movie was not made for apparently Murray or Bryce, but this movie
it
was
was
made 100% for me.
Yeah.
I
I
liked
loved
it.
every single scene in it. It was a movie inside a movie inside of a movie.
It was.
Inside of a dream sequence, inside of a drug-induced fun time. I loved it, including a good old-fashioned dick ripping. So, yeah.
That's the only part I remember from that movie.
Yeah, it was
Well,
so good.
that is a memorable part.
And that did scar me for life.
Yeah, see, there you go, Mer. And you're going to remember that for life.
Yes, I will.
And my last movie to talk about, which Bryce has already mentioned, is Getting It Back by Samande.
Yeah.
This movie was pure joy in music and doc form from the most humble and talented group of musicians. The secret password that is Samande is a cult.
Yes.
I want to join. And it's Mondo.
I listened to Dove like 5 times this morning. That's 50 minutes of Dove. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute song.
Yeah, you can't get
And-
enough, Dove.
It's
See, for me, it's
so
Bra.
laid back. Bra's good, but Dove, that's my
Dove is
jam.
Dove-tastic.
It is. I love that song.
So you got it in the mail already?
No, I listened to it on YouTube.
Oh.
I couldn't wait.
Yeah. He got home at whatever, midnight
Yeah,
And
I
decided
ordered
to-
it immediately.
to order it.
That's the sign of a good documentary, a music
Yeah.
doc. If it's someone I've never heard of,
Yeah.
and when the closing credits are running, I'm thinking, oh, I got to go home and order like everything that these guys
See,
have ever made.
during the movie, I downloaded it so I could listen to it.
There you go. But yeah, so good, man. So
Yeah,
good.
you know what? This is what's interesting about it. This movie kind of is a similar movie to Finding Sugarman.
Oh,
but it's completely different because
I love how you say Sugarman, like he's like it's a Jewish fellow.
Yeah.
It's Sugar Man.
Sugar Man. Okay, whatever.
Sugarman.
Sugarman, good old Mr. Sugarman. Anyway, I found the similarities very interesting. Yet, this is the start of hip hop.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like to think that they
I
and they
think-
only went over to U.S.
I
for
had no idea what we were going to when we went to. I thought it was about some rapper
Yeah,
called Samander or
Siminder?
Siminder or
Salamander?
Salamander?
Cyanide, like that other guy made the mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know what his name is. Just some rap. No, that's not what it's about at all.
In fact, they didn't even do any
Jim's
rap.
like, what's this about? I don't know. I think it's about some rapper. I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know why we're here. This is gonna be terrible.
And then-
it was the best.
Yeah, you know what? I would say, okay, if I had to rank anything, no, I would say Dawn Breaks Behind the Eyes is my
Yeah,
favorite.
you probably got Don. You probably got Piggy
Piggy.
in this.
Yeah.
real close.
Yep.
and I
I would say.
understand that. Yep. As did I.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, what we're trying to say, people, is the movies we're talking about, we'll have them somehow listed in our show notes, I guess, that we talked about maybe somehow.
Some of them will be streaming.
Yeah.
for the
Some of them will be
for the
streaming.
weekend. I don't know which ones.
They may be geo-blocked for a few
Depending on the,
provinces.
area,
but for those of you, our U.S. listeners, who we have a lot more U.S. listeners than Canadian listeners, look for these movies as they come out. And
On
it's
demand or
interesting. I know this is a little bit of a
Other
sidebar,
festivals.
but one of our movies we saw at our previous festival is now being released this weekend into small run theaters, which is The Sadness by our buddy
It's
Ron.
not. That's not true, Jim. It's
What?
actually being released into major theaters, but it's a 2-night event.
Oh.
You're telling me, oh yeah, I know all about this. Apparently you don't.
Apparently I
it's a
didn't.
2-night event. It's Friday and Saturday night,
Yes.
and that's it. So you
And
got
that's
2
it.
nights to see it, but you can see it at your
Here.
local Cineplex or major.
Yeah, but it's only
whatever
select theaters.
It is only select theaters, but it's at
For
the
2
major
days.
theaters. It's for 2 days,
There you go.
and it is one of their.
Oh, you're saying it's not like small independent theaters,
No.
right? Okay.
Which is what you just said.
But I was wrong.
Anyway,
Because I knew it was a
I
Cineplex.
guarantee it's not playing at any independent theaters because it's
Because it's too popular now.
yeah, sure.
But it was still an independent.
At any
film.
rate,
But
it's
the
worth
point I
seeing.
was trying to make was that
Yeah.
with these movies that we're actually talking about, not all of them are going to make it there,
No,
right? So
sometimes
you're going
you got to seek them out.
seek them in the film festivals, so they might make it to some of the streaming sites. But see some of these great movies.
Absolutely.
And there are still 2 full days of the festival left if you are in the
2 full days of in theater and then
Yes,
another
and
3
then-
of streaming.
Yes, and then one special one on Friday.
Yeah, special Friday night.
With Marcel Deschelles, which
With shoes on.
With shoes on.
I don't know, some YouTube thing. I don't know.
So next week,
It's going to be great.
So next week we're going to be talking more about Cuff. We might have another new release coming out, which we may be able to squeeze in. We may or may not be back to our old agenda. So stay tuned next week because next episode is going to be a surprise / crapshoot.
You never know.
You just never know.
Just never
You
know.
just never know
Could be
what's going to
anything.
Know
happen.
what's gonna happen?
Never know. Wow. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, the Extended Film Rage family, who you can find on our show notes. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. And also, check out all of our reviews on our review page because there's a shit ton of them. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please, please, just make us rage. That's it for this week on our Cuff episode. Rage on.
Rage on.